Hello, everyone. It's Stephanie Romer, author of Quieting the Clock, Memoir of a Girl Facing Death and Chasing Freedom. I was watching a couple videos that I had done recently, and I noticed that I mentioned that I was going to discuss being a burden. And so that's what today's video is about, is the experience from my personal feelings and my personal life experiences of being a burden. So I have a couple excerpts, getting better, that I wanted to read that go along that line, and then I will discuss it a little bit. So, okay. So these are for far away, and I can't read with them on. So what hurt me the most was, actually, let me go ahead and tell you what chapter this is. It's page 81, and I believe it's Too Sick to Love. Yes, chapter 7, Too Sick to Love. If you want to follow along, feel free to. It's page 81. It's the last page of the chapter. So what was going on so far, a little bit without revealing too much, was that I was beginning to experience, or continuously experiencing, that I didn't get to spend that much time with my dad because every time I was at his house, I would get sick, and I was with my dad every other weekend, and I was sick a lot. So when I was sick at my mom's, I saw her every day. And so we had a million different memories. We had every single day to make new memories. But when I was with my dad every other weekend, we only had that couple days, that weekend. And so a few days, I think it's like 6 days, maybe sometimes more, a month, that I got to see him. And it just so happened that it kept happening, especially when I was little, that I was sick, had the flu or heat strokes, or there was just always something going on that I was struggling with when I was with him for a while. And so that's kind of what's going on right here. And then how my brother played into that. A sibling of CHD is chapter 2, I believe. And let me just, oh no, wow, that's a screaming boy. I'm sorry. Okay, so sibling of CHD. I can't find it right now, so I'm just gonna keep talking. So anyway, with the end of this chapter, it says, what hurt me the most was feeling that I was a burden to others. And if people didn't have time to spend with me that wasn't a pain, how would they get to know me and love me? This is where I began to develop that idea of self-sacrifice, of like, well, I'm not worthy of, yeah, kind of not worthy of, but also people don't have time to get to know me or love me because, when we're hanging out, we're going to get to know each other, and then I might never see you again. I might die. I might get sick. I might, no idea what's going to happen. So I felt like forming relationships with me, this was the very beginning of me discovering this, was becoming difficult, if not impossible, even with my own family. So let's see. Sure, my parents told me that they loved me, but in my mind, I couldn't understand how. I knew Caleb, my brother, wanted to protect me, but his patience seemed to be running out. And, my brother was 2 years older than me. He was just a regular kid. He had ADHD, and he struggled with his own, things, but he was a overall healthy child. And, sometimes it gets annoying when your parents are always having to take care of the sick kid, that's Apollo, sorry. And just kind of rearranging their schedule for the sick kid. Or, we had plans for the day, but Stephanie got sick. Or we had, it's endless examples of what happens, So, and then the more these episodes happened, the more it ate away at any chance I had of loving myself. I still loved God, but I knew the feeling couldn't be mutual. I slowly began to come to the conclusion that maybe I was too sick to love. And that's really hard to read. It was hard to write, and it's hard to experience, and it's hard to feel, and it's hard to live. But it's hard to read too, even a while later because that's still how I feel. I still fight with that, with forming relationships and stuff. So, because you never know when something's going to happen, right? So how do you form a relationship with somebody that you can't maybe keep plans with or hang out with a lot, or something comes up and it's always sick, but I don't, in my adulthood, I don't always say that, or teenage years. So, okay. And that was one. And then another one I wanted to read was, my mom talked to the coach. Okay. And then this was getting older. So this is, let's see. Oops. I believe this was Rebirth, but it's looking like Two Faces. Anyway, sorry. It's hard to figure out what chapter I'm in on my computer. But I was too much of a burden and risk to be on school teams. So that's getting into my adolescent years. And, so I said, so this middle school volleyball, basketball, and softball teams gave me, an identical response. And without giving too much away, what I was getting from coaches is that, I have to do these practices. So, and the practices entailed 1 mile run and sit-ups and push-ups and, just all this stuff. And what I never understood was, why can't I just play the sport? I don't need to run a mile and do jumping jacks to play a volleyball game. I don't need to run a mile and do push-ups and sit-ups that I already had to do at home anyway because of clip, that I just didn't understand the logic behind that. And I still, as an adult, don't. It does not make any sense to me. And it's very hurtful, and it's discriminatory. You can't let a special needs child participate in a game of volleyball here and there, to make her feel included because she can't run a mile, or because she can't do all of these things that, especially in front of her peers, that is horrifically embarrassing, that I would get tired after, 2 jumping jacks, or, anyway, you get it. I hope that things have changed. I think things have changed. I think the world is more inclusive now with, disabilities and special needs. What's the word I'm looking for? Not adjustments, but whatever. Just making room for people who aren't perfect, who aren't born healthy, and making them feel included. So what I did was, as you'll find out in the book, what I did to kind of gain my own empowerment is I'm not going to tell you, but you can read the book of how I dealt with being constantly rejected from these teams because of my heart condition. So yeah, here I say, even if you did well in all stages of these tryouts, I did in volleyball, basketball, and softball, because I did well. I was a great softball player. I was a just regular good whatever volleyball player because I had a great arm. And basketball, I couldn't run up and down, but I could, do a 3-point or whatever. Like every once in a while I was a good shot, but I just couldn't run. Anyway, so I didn't understand why they didn't utilize me for these things. So they still said no. My mom talked to the coaches and principal, but they said their rules are their rules. No special treatment for anyone. So fun in the 90s and before. So I think these days, like I said, they're more inclusive with all kinds of abilities and all of that. So keeping it under 10 minutes. I can't believe that was already 9 minutes. So if y'all have any questions regarding being a burden or comments or can relate in any way, whether you are a parent or teacher or doctor seeing this in a patient or student or child, or you are a teenager or adult yourself experiencing this, then, if you're a teenager, feel free to let your parents know and reach out to me. And if you have a certain question, I'm happy to answer it. So, all right. Have a good day. Bye. Oh, wait a minute. See, I'm so nervous about getting on my 10-minute mark that I forgot. If you are finished with the book, please let me know what you thought. Head on over to Amazon and please leave a review, because that review does get me in the running for a best-selling author, best-selling book. So those rankings really, or the algorithm of what Amazon does, really, really does help me. And also feel free to share your book, your face, taking, reading, take a picture with you in the book, anything that would be awesome. And just share your experiences of how you are experiencing this book, because every single individual is going to have their own personal relationship and experience with really each chapter, because there's a lot that goes on with just one chapter. So, all right, I think that's it. Have a good day. Bye.